We are back after a brief delay where Calvin,
Tahan.
yeah, Tahan, you smashed so hard with Godzilla that you broke the stream, but we're back now. Calvin, you're sitting pretty at 4 wins, 1 draw. Your work's not quite done yet. You got
one win, 1 in. It's a win in the next round. This is other than St. Louis from last year. This is the best I've done at a regional. In this game, I've been playing for a little over a year now, almost a year and a half. But before anything begins, I want to plug my locals, Gaming Giant in Fairfax. There's 2 TOs. You guys know Shock or Kevin. He's here today. I just beat him last round. But he's a pillar of the scene, awesome guy. The other TO, Rob, is not here today, but he's doing and has been doing a charity stream for St. Jude Children's Hospital. A lot of you guys know about it. I'm sure the link is in Twitch chat already. If it's not, Twitch chat, do your thing. Otherwise, go to the UniVersus group and just search St. Jude. He is trying to raise money for charity through UniVersus streams, and he's going to be giving a Chrome character away to random donors. But it's just great fun, and it's been really good so far. I only want to plug that because those of you who don't know me somehow, I'm one of the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh players of all time. Don't play anymore, but from that community, coming to somewhere like this, just so wholesome and welcoming, I can tell you this never would have happened in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Just how giving people have been, and really just my whole experience playing this game has been nothing but positive. I love the people, I love the cards, I love the mechanics. I'm in love with this game. This is my favorite card game. That's my spiel. But
No, that's awesome. And I tuned into that stream for a little bit. Made a small donation, actually, because I got called out by Team MGLA over there. But they've already blown past his goal.
Yes, and a lot of that's from Team MGLA.
But he's keeping on going. Yeah. Team MGLA came in with a huge...
But I have to plug that. He's a great man. Made my experience playing this game tremendous. Taught many other people how to play. But anyway, that's that. So
let's talk about... So St. Louis, you top cut with Amajiki,
right.
also on the Chaos symbol.
Right.
But you made the switch to Godzilla. Why are you on Godzilla right now and not on Amajiki?
Amajiki just dies to Nick. That's the real answer. If Nick were in the format, I'd be playing Jiki. I think he's the most fun character. I think being able to play Momentum as like a second hand is such a cool idea and concept. And like if you just got a turn, like if you had 3 turns to build Momentum in a format where that could be possible, I would definitely be playing him. But because that's not possible and you have to turn 2 everybody, I chose the best turn 2 character in the whole game. He does a lot more momentum too. My favorite card is Chimera Kraken, so I get to play for that still on the Chaos Symbol, and that's really the reason. I was like, I want to play this card no matter what. Oh, this is the best deck to do it. Let's figure out how to manipulate our checks and play 10 attacks in 1 turn.
We didn't quite see. So are all of your Krakens in your deck Chrome?
Yes. I just completed. So this is my first premier event, my first regional, where the playset's complete. I worked at it since October.
Nice.
I went to the regional in Europe, in the UK. And I got obliterated. I went like 0-2 drop. Just got absolutely destroyed.
So you heard it here. UK is just better competition than the United States.
Flew across as the only American there and got destroyed. Lost like 3 Bakugos. But while I was there, I picked up a Chrome Kraken, my favorite card. And I have since then been trying to complete the set. And about a month ago, I finally got the last copy. They're a playset.
That's awesome. Maybe that's what did it. Maybe like the full Chrome is what unlocked your deck. Are there any changes that you made to Godzilla with recently? What was like the most recent change that you made to the deck, and then and are there changes that you would make post-apocalypse, or are you thinking just switching characters? So kind of 2 questions there.
So I'll be honest, I've been practicing a lot for this event, and part of coming from competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, playing for as long as I have, you're kind of trained to like be disciplined and like only focus. So I really haven't looked at the AOT3 reveals on purpose because I don't want to be distracted because I knew it wouldn't be legal for this. That said, I saw the 3 diff, that's a 6 that like Titan Cliff can build, that just gets some momentum. So I think Godzilla is just going to be insane when that card comes out. I don't know how it got past testing at all. But that said, I haven't read any of the characters or any of the other cards, so maybe it's just not playable compared to the other decks.
Yeah, imagine if you took your what was that, pass-through walls, and now that's the card that gets you a momentum?
It just Titan Cliff becomes another determined advance, essentially, and it just doesn't seem real. So I'm sure it's going to be broken. That said, before this event, my deck looked pretty similar. VME got hit, and I was playing 4 pass-through walls, just because VME is in every deck, and I reactionary, I cut that down to 2, and then through testing, I just found that there's not really another, there's just... Breaker's still in the game, and there's still some fringe assets too. So I went back up to 4 this week, and that was the most recent change I made. So short answer is I really didn't change anything from the ban list, but long answer is I did, and then I undid it.
And that makes sense. There's not so many 6 checks to go grabbing Inspiring Song, but you're already on Inspiring. Were you on a couple of them?
I play 18 6 checks, so just under 20. So it's about as many 6 checks as my attacks are. I play 6 of them that are total vanillas. One's like a crit roll 6. It's just a 1/6, and then one's a Star Trek 2, 1/6 too high. So one's a too high, one's a too low, but they both have no effects. So I'm trying to make as many 6s as possible to make my determined advances be as free as possible, because that's usually your first form. And then, building accordingly. You're nuking the stage so often, so like your foundations don't matter. So my other foundations are a lot of flip costs and getting value out of fearsome transformations and horrifying realization. And your stage is face down, but it doesn't matter because they're dead, or you're nuking next turn. Is kind of the theory.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the nuke. So you nuked in game 3, and it kind of it made the game go a little bit longer. But it really set you up with a solid advantage because you had a 29-17 health advantage at the time, and you got rid of his Radiant. I don't know how you say it. Visages?
Yes, set up 2 of those. Yeah, as soon as you set up 2 of those, it was brutal, and I knew I had to nuke no matter what.
So how often are you nuking this stage, or how many times have you used it so far in this tournament, like before that round?
Probably, that was probably my 3rd or 4th time this tournament, so it definitely doesn't happen every game. The key is that you have to make sure that you have momentum when it happens, and then you usually want to have the card that makes you be a 7-hander before you do it, or either be able to build into it. In the case of this nuke, I knew I was building a pass-through walls to negate his asset, and I knew I had momentum, so my kill string could just be free. But if that can't happen, it's really rough. There's a couple of decks you have to nuke against just because of tempo, but I haven't, like Deku and stuff like that, but I haven't played against any of those yet. So the nuke versus Devil Jin and a lot of 5-handers is just like kind of the same concept of like the opening mulligan, where like you're a 5-hander, so sometimes you're 2-building, which we saw in this match.
Right.
If you nuke, it's the middle of the game. He didn't sculpt. He probably has an attack or a random block. He's drawing 5 random cards. He might just build 2 again, which is what we saw happen. And that's not like me getting lucky. That's like what usually is supposed to happen with 5-handers. Like not only am I wiping the board, but also he's not going to have like necessarily a stage to build. So the mechanic is really just great, and it's all about timing it. It's not so much about wiping the stage as it's about like finding a choke point for their character, making it so that they can't possibly come back.
Yeah, and so often that's the difference. Like Godzilla, in some ways, feels like a character where, you're just, I mean, everybody's playing like the Determined Advance, the Krakens, right? And it feels like such a, not autopilot, but like that's kind of what sets apart like a good Godzilla player, right, from the others, is like you're making those correct timing decisions. And another timing decision you made, it was that turn 2 of that game, that what sets you up with the 29-17 health advantage was you got really greedy on the turn 2. You didn't have a very great build.
No.
You checked a 3 on your first attack, and then you still went for the Determined Advance. I think like on a 7, where a 3 check would have just ended the game pretty much right on turn 2. But you made the decision to, I'm going to be a little bit greedy here, but it was actually a game-winning greedy decision that not all Godzillas, I think, make. So there's still skill expression.
Yeah, there really is. It's a very like exploitative skill style, play style almost, but you have to be able to take those calculated risks sometimes, and sometimes your checks go so poor early that you don't really have a choice. Like you lose anyway. Yeah. Or like, okay, well, like this, maybe I went second this game, and like I'm probably not supposed to win anyway. Let me try to cheese like a small advantage. So that's what a lot of that is. And because I played, like I said, 18 6s, I let myself get lucky more than a regular person would.
Yeah, it's not like magical when you check a 6. It's what you're designed
it's
it to do.
A 3 or 6 are equally as likely in my deck. A 5 is what's unlucky. I play like 6.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was a very impressive win because that game 3 you were going second, so against a very, very strong aggro character, and you constantly held the advantage. And I feel like that turn 2 kind of really set it up for all games. So 4-0-1. Good luck the rest of the way. Any final shout outs you want to give before I let you go?
No, not at all. I just, I'm here to win the whole thing. I started playing this game because I love My Hero, so I hope that they make another My Hero IP, or I will probably be very sad when Kraken rotates. But I'm here to win. I love this game. I didn't think I would. I think I would just, coming in, I thought I'd just play a fun game to have like a side game, but I fell in love with the mechanics, man, and the people. Like, it's just so fun, and it's so rewarding having like a check pace. Like, it's really just so great. So I'm here to win, and I will. I'm going to defend this title from Nats, and I'm going to keep it going.
All right.
But yeah, thank you.
Good luck, and I second that. UVS Games, you need to make a My Hero.
We need My Hero.
We need another set for that last arc in the anime. It was awesome.
Vigilantes, just make it anyway. Like, there's so much
Vigilantes
content.
is out. Yeah. So it hasn't lost its currency. Well, we'll be back in just a little bit. I think we might have some more reveals for you before the next round. Otherwise, round 6 is starting here in just like 5 minutes. So don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to round 6 of the Albuquerque Regional. I'm Tam. This is Sam. Man, we got a fun one. First table, top seed. The people jumping in. This one matters. We win this one. We ID the last one. We have Ross Aubrey on Air Nick Reagan, the breakout deck of this event, versus Calvin Wub Haragal on Elder Tagoro, another 7-hand size death character he's well known for, playing on the evil symbol this time. Sam, when you look at these two matchups, obviously Nick gets to go first as we see. What are your thoughts?
So I think this matchup is going to be really hard to predict. Not only do you have to deal with all of, like, the randomness that this Nick Reagan deck brings to the table, but Elder Tagoro has access to so many different strategies, and while we normally see decks kind of hyper focus on one, throughout the day when I've been walking around, Wub is playing a wide variety of things. It's, not necessarily pigeonholed into one sort of style of play that I've seen, so I haven't gotten to look through the whole deck list, but I have no idea what this Elder Tagoro deck is doing yet, and I think that is some of the most exciting, that's one of the most exciting things I can say about this game before it gets started.
Yeah, whenever this character was previewed, he was touted as like, this is the ultimate toolbox character, and then he kind of became like a combo deck, right?
Yes.
Of, hey, I get to find my combo all the time. It feels like Wub has brought it back to that true toolbox. Every time that I come over and I look at his board, there's a new card that I didn't know was in his deck on the board. And I'm like, oh, okay, no, even here, we're reading.
Having made a lot of Elder Tagoro combo decks in my time, especially with the Death Rattle Grove Keepers deck that I love so much, we just saw the card get checked with Maximum Overhaul. What ends up happening is you go, I have this really great game plan. It only involves like one attack card. I only have 4 attacks in the deck, and it's so good and it's so strong. But you know what would make my deck better? Just one Maximum Overhaul.
Yeah.
Just a little max. I can get it whenever I want.
Yeah.
Whenever I want,
the
I can get
percentage
this
points goes
Maximum
up just a
Overhaul.
little bit.
Right.
You know?
And so you start doing that, and you end up with like a weird half toolbox that supports your combo. But a great way to interrupt what your rival wants to do is playing Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken.
Yeah, totally. Getting rid of the Team Dr. Ishigaki's ability to defend itself this turn, getting rid of the best defensive foundation, probably that greater goal, putting Elder in a bit of a pickle, and not to mention, we haven't even given it +2/+2 and splice an additional enhance on top of this one.
Yeah, commit and freeze, real strong here. Turn 2 is really when you want to see these effects, because there's only going to be 1 or 2 good targets. It's going to take out a more substantial amount of your rival's strength in their stage and their resources, and it's going to pave the way for that all-encompassing early aggression. That is the name of the game. That's what we've seen Nick Reagan's fail at all day on stream. I think we've seen 2 before. They've both been the air symbol version, and they've both struggled to get anything going offensively.
Yeah, but hey, Kraken is a great way to open it up, and then now let's crack the pack. 8 fresh ones off the top. What are we going to grab? Death from Above, huge.
Dark Interruption is a great one on turn 2.
And interesting, we've got Invisible Infiltration, a card that I haven't seen. I haven't seen on stream yet. Have you?
Yes, we had it in the last Nick Reagan match I cast with David. Invisible Infiltration was like the first attack played. Very cool card. You get to remove a foundation from the game. When it comes back, you're going to build it in ready and face up. So you can take a committed flipped foundation, turn it to a ready face up one. And this is a card we've had access to since what? MHA set 2, set 3?
Correct. Got a beautiful reprint in the Girl Power set. Yeah, very, very cool card. It definitely floats in and out. Invisible, truly, in most meta games.
Yeah.
It looks like we're just going to take the 8 and let it rock.
Yeah, the good old Ocho down at the Elder Tagoro lane. So Frog Kick, this is one we've seen too. This card, it shows up in weird places, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like a baby Chimera Kraken, right? Instead of commit and freeze, I flip one of mine to selectively seal one of yours, and it does get really big. You can discard a card, which Nick Reagan has a ton of cards to have access to in order to play a bunch of extra moves.
Yeah, and I think that's really the issue with it is why you don't see it too often. We first saw it really make a splash with Krista Lenz, who values the discard cost on the damage pump as a way to get wall counters. And the fact that it also seals a rival foundation is incredibly nice. And so we're seeing more decks take advantage of it when they can afford both the costs. Do I have foundations I don't care about flipping? Of course I do. I'm Nick Reagan. I'm an aggro deck. I'm trying to get things done right now, not tomorrow, not later. And then do we have extra cards to discard? Well, of course we do. I have Death from Above in my deck. I've got World's Weakest Hunters in my deck. You know, we have a lot of these access of extra draw. So love to see it here. It's a great answer. And you're right. You combine it with that Vast Hybrid, and all of a sudden, Wub's stage is practically blank.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Looks like the card that we cracked off the top was Lightning Rod, building into fake foundations, fictitious foundations that will be gone, removed at the end of the turn.
They're not fake. They're just ephemeral. They're real foundations.
Sure.
Hashtag all foundations.
Well, the crazier thing is because we built in these two foundations, they might just not be removed at the end of the turn, but maybe be scooped back up into our deck at the end of the game. So I'm
that's
just
true.
Building them off the top and slamming attacks. We do have another Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken in hand, but it looks like Moth is the way to go on a 4, 5, 6. Checks a 3 because of the breaker block that we had access to, putting those bonus foundations to good use. And then Incompatible Quirks, what on face looks like a very defensive maneuver. Commit -2 speed, I'll remove a foundation and then re-ready it. Well, the real answer is this is just going to be re-readied over and over and over again, so I can keep passing checks, unless, of course, El Toguro utilizes his own sealing ability to take care of it.
Yeah, that's a huge heads-up play from Wub there, you know, being able to destroy the foundation, and it's a continuous ability. You can't even really react to it or respond to it if you wanted. So locking down that foundation is probably going to be the difference between whether or not this Nick Reagan deck can play another attack with Nick Reagan ready or not.
Absolutely. And it looks like we've cracked another pack. What is this Moth going to have? And the answer is, I mean, there's 3 more damage from a Frog Kick. There's guaranteeing my next check from the Interrupt. There's tons of choices.
At face value, with all these cards in hand, I have to assume it's the guarantee my check, right? It's check from hand if we've got more gas on the way. But discarding one of these many cards for +3 damage is also maybe the difference between whether or not a blank attack without the Nick Reagan enhance is lethal. So that could be an option as well, because Wub is basically defenseless. I mean, Elder Toguro is never really defenseless with the character ability, but it's not looking easy for Ross.
Every time that you click that button on the character, you are losing equity in your stage, right? I've got 3 foundations. What kind of a turn can I have to follow up to punish Ross on being so aggressive here if I just don't have my foundation base? And the answer is I just don't, as we drop down to 7.
All right, 7 is okay. We are going to pull it back, and it seems like that was the correct choice because we did not have the check from hand. We did check a 3 off the top, and that would have spelled absolute disaster. And I mean, it's turn 2, Tam. We're so far ahead. Why risk it?
Totally agree. Get out another big, healthy build. Replace the foundations that are about to be removed, destroyed. Removed. They went to the remove game pile. That's why they were removed.
And they were too. It's very funny seeing the Nick Reagan removed from game pile, and the discard pile is an afterthought. It's almost off the screen.
I watched Carson Panos in the last round as Webb's getting started. Have literally his entire deck in his remove game pile. He had 3 foundations in his stage, 3 attacks in his card pool, and 3 cards between his deck and his discard pile.
Yeah.
They were all gone in a 100+ card deck. It was very funny to walk in on and be like, this is a lot.
And he won that game, right?
He did win the game. Yeah, it was very, very close though.
That is one thing we've been looking for. There are Nick Reagans that are doing successful, right? Like Ross is here undefeated.
Correct.
And I think we have one other either undefeated or X1 Nick Reagan deck. It's just when they're on stream, they're not winning today.
That is not the case here with Ross. What an insane turn 2. But Calvin fighting back. He said, yes, you committed and froze my best foundation on my board, but Chronostasis Trigger coming in and doing a little committing and freezing of my own.
Yeah, Chronostasis Trigger, very cool, very much like Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, with the caveat that you have to play it from a zone other than your hand, and if you're an evil symbol character, it gets even better.
Yeah, if I touch you, I get to seal your character. Very good in matchups like Ghidorah and Midoriya. Not
Huge
so much against the Nick Reagans of the world.
Yeah, against Ghidorah, you might as well rename the card Silver Bullet, and the art still works.
It certainly does.
But yeah, this is not exactly the poison pill against a Nick Reagan deck. It looks like Wubb's just trying to, like you said, talk about that stage equity, get a frozen card down on your side, make you deal with that as well, and maybe get a momentum for something else. But okay, fighting for control is definitely going to help with extra frozen foundations.
Yeah, full block coming in, getting to build a galactic monster out of the remove from game pile as we reestablish a healthy board and prepare ourselves for, as we have crossed the eye of the storm, and we are headed to the other side of what is now Nick Reagan's turn.
Yeah, this is make it or break it, right? After this turn, Elder Toguro is going to have a very good opportunity to stabilize, and it could become a game where Elder Toguro is untouchable between damage reduction, speed reduction, and the ability to flexibly use them in tandem. Damage reduction becomes speed reduction, becomes a block, and now all of a sudden my -2 damage from Greater Goal is actually just minus all the damage of your attack because I was able to block it.
100%. But as long as Nick keeps opening Vast Hybrid Chimera Krakens, the stage will be blank. It will be turned sideways. It will be useless to defend ourselves.
Yeah, this is tough. This is not where Wubb wanted to find himself.
I think pretty much any other opener besides Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken is what we want to see.
Right.
Just with the ability to turn off that Ichigaki to cancel a really potent ability is so strong. It is one of the reasons that I really like the card League of Villains, the asset.
Okay.
It was one of my sideboard pieces whenever I was playing Death Decks because it can negate the thing that Nick Reagan accidentally puts on stuff.
Right.
You draw your 2 cards. No, I will cancel that
it's
one.
On an attack card.
It is on an attack card.
Yeah, very cool.
And not on the character itself. And so Ichigaki would work that same way if every turn it wasn't committed by the Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken.
Yeah, I really can't imagine a better opener from the Nick Reagan deck that we've seen. Warp Gate Portal is pretty close in that argument that what is better, the Vast Hybrid or the card that searches my deck for Vast Hybrid?
That's true.
Kind of argument. And yeah, this is just another attack that used to be widely considered almost obviously the best attack in the format. And it seems like it's never going away.
Totally agree. And the big thing here is I was talking to Rossi between the rounds, and he's not playing the 1-check.
Oh,
he's not. He opted that it was not good enough.
This could be the difference maker.
This could be, but he is playing.
He could be the smartest Nick Reagan in the room as he takes down game 1. Calvin is going to be scooping it up, and we're going to be taking a look at some sideboards, Tam, trying to figure out what went wrong, what could go better.
Yeah, that win was all off the back of a Sweeping Daggers bird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, really? That was the Blitz one?
That was a Blitz
I wanted
bird one.
to see that. I told David, I'm like, the one thing I'd love to see is like a game decided by that, and it happened so fast.
Yeah, we run away to down ourselves to 1, and then whoop,
perfect.
It was gone. Very cool. Very heads up play.
Amazing. I mean, what else can you say except Ross has just had it. He has had it every time. He had it every turn. I cannot imagine a better way for that game to go, except we could just check more 5s, which, I mean, that's obviously always the plan.
Yeah. Feels very, very good to win the die roll as a Nick Reagan. Feels even better to win to go first as Elder Toguro. 7 hand size toolbox character that's going to get to build out 2 full times before Nick Reagan gets to start the onslaught, start the storm.
Yeah, so in that game 1, we didn't get to see a lot of Calvin's deck. We didn't get to see a lot of what was in the discard pile necessarily, but was there any identifiable win condition? Was there any stomp of the female Titan, or maybe in Irwin's final charge, or any of these, massive one-shot attacks that Elder Toguro kind of became known for once the Twisting Azure Inferno decks, made it onto the scene?
Not that I saw. I want to say that there are plenty of other win conditions, but truthfully, I mean, one of the best win conditions that Elder Toguro has is just to use his younger brother's special move.
Right.
True 100 out of the discard pile is just an insane thing to pull out every move over and over and over again.
Eldritch Toguro beam is pretty good for both of them, and Elder Toguro is great at making games go to that lengthy late game sort of situation. So I have to assume we're going to see a longer game, because that was a turn 3 kill. That was exactly in the wheelhouse of the Nick Reagan deck. Again, everything went the way Ross would like to, pretty much. And so if we can get past that turn 3, if we can take no damage turn 2, you got to shift that, that advantage bar all the way back to the other side.
Man, build 3 is not what I would expect from a 7-hand size Elder deck.
So one of the things about building the Elder deck, especially if you are on a higher attack count, is you still have to include a lot of assets and actions, and I guess backups now too, as a way to fuel that form. Because if you're discarding attacks to play different attacks, then you are purely in that toolbox zone, right? You are not really generating additional value, additional attacks, what we might consider better card advantage. So it seems like he has a very normal attack count, and we see multiple attacks checked, an attack reviewed here. Combine that with all the extra actions and assets that Elder Toguro decks are kind of known for, and we see it here. We're discarding an asset to play an attack.
Yeah, especially with how potent the Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken was in the previous match, it totally makes sense to be a little gun shy, have the PTSD of, I'm not even going to get to use this card anyways. So let's get rid of it and commit and freeze one of the insurance pieces that these bad check air decks get to have in a life of danger.
Yeah, not only are you getting rid of one resource because of the response to give +1 to a check, it's kind of like getting rid of 2 resources.
Absolutely.
Which definitely the right call, definitely the one I would be aiming for myself. And
so much so that Ross is using the Nick Reagan crack a pack to attempt to re-ready it.
Yes.
I do not want this card frozen. I want to play as much as I can.
Funny enough, most players, right, they identify the highest difficulty foundation, and they would have immediately gone for the Ryukyu agency trainees, which did get removed, which would have been unfortunate for Calvin. So just
showing you why, this is table 1.
Right? Exactly.
Assessing what the real threat of the table is, not caring about the numbers on cards, but really the words.
Yes. Recognizing, how often was Calvin even blocking in the first game, right? So it's one of those things where recognizing exactly where the pain point is, and that is Nick passing 3 attacks at me on turn 2 in the first game. And here it is. Here is the freeze game plan coming into effect.
Yeah, consistency piece. One of the pieces I really like inside of this air deck is how much draw and recycle there is. We've seen a lot of card pool clearing from the Knicks, but with the Death from Above, which is all over the place in the all list, the fact that you also get Electric Moth to fix these hands even further. What if this hand needs to actually be a build turn? I'll get rid of an attack, draw a couple foundations, and then grab it. A piece that the all deck doesn't actually have a lot of access to.
Yeah, it's very cool. Again, one of the few things that the air symbol really gets to have, which is nice as an air symbol enthusiast. And it's hard out here. It's usually just a chaos thing, and we're just lucky to have a piece of it. So, but yeah, it's funny you mentioned that the one check is not present in this deck, because that was a huge talk with David through the other matches, or through the Nick match that we got to watch. He's like, the plan is Warp Gate to go get Sniping Spy, and every time a Warp Gate portal would get revealed, he's like, he's going to do the enhance to go get the Sniping Spy, and it was a play we just never saw. It's a play that never was the right play. It was a play that was never possible. It was a play that got canceled, sealed, negated by King Ghidorah. And so I'm very interested to see. We still have the sniping spy. So there is still that opportunity, and we still see a Schoolyard Smackdown to see those really, really long strings. But if we have to organically draw them, which enhance are we choosing? Are we choosing draw 2 or are we choosing sniping spy?
That's the catch-22. That's what makes, I mean, like, Nick is obviously a very powerful, very strong, prolific monster of the meta.
Yeah, and he's a good character card, too.
And he's a great character card. There are a lot of decisions that you have to make inside of this deck, and you do have to play the correct lines as your 5-hand size aggro character. There are choices to be made when you remove the top 8. Not only are you losing those resources forever, but you pick one of them and you get to kind of rescue it for this one enhance. Which is the one that's going to win the game? Which is the one that's going to make me not lose the game?
Right.
These are all decisions that the best players on this character are making and making appropriately.
Yeah, and it's so tough to really quantify. But you look at how popular Nick Reagan has been in such a short amount of time that he's been legal in the standard format. But you also look at the conversion rate. Yeah, there might be 2 or 3 in a top cut, but look at all the ones that don't convert. Look at all the ones that aren't making it. So it's definitely a deck where we're seeing the same players typically do really well on it, and now we've seen basically an entire team, or at least half of a team, adopt a single version of this deck, and we've not seen it perform just yet in a singular game on stream, but Ross is making an excellent case for this deck.
Yeah, beautiful showcase. I'm not sure that I've even a little bit disagreed with any of the decisions that he's made on any piece, right? Like the branching decision-making skills that you have inside of the game. Like I could do this, I could do this. These all feel like brilliant moves. To bring up chess from an earlier.
Yeah, I very much prefer the non-warp gate portal version, just because it does seem like the card draw is enough, and there's so many times where searching your deck for another attack is just not as good as stats on a current attack. Totally. Especially if our opponent is breakering us and using fighting for control, and we can't even play those other cards. We now have a blank 1 check, right? So very interesting stuff. But we do have what looks to be a Tetra Terror Onslaught being played by Elder Toguro, which is almost always going to have that extra additional text of -1 difficulty, +2 speed. And so he's going to put Nick down to 19 here.
Yeah, 19, pick up the best piece inside of his discard pile, which I believe was the Hawks SR. What's the name of this action?
Fierce Wings.
Thank you so much.
Fierce Wings is an excellent choice because it is so modular. If our rival commits or destroys one of our foundations, we can remove it from our hand to go build a non-unique foundation of difficulty 3 or less from our discard pile. And if we want, we can enhance with it to add a card of difficulty 3 or less from our discard pile to our hand. So Tetra Terror picking up Fierce Wings is kind of like a placeholder to pick up the best card at a later date situationally, which is absolutely insane. I have made so many YouTube videos talking about how it's incredible that the evil symbol is not like dominating the format with access to cards like Barrier Shield, Fierce Wings, Invincible Body, and Defending Pageant Queen all in the same deck. And now we're seeing Wub utilize Tetra Terror to get more access to those great cards.
Wub, big Ace Maneuvers fan. Definitely watch that video. Drop the like for sure. And here it is, Chimera Kraken, kind of the scourge of game 1. I'm sure Wub, somewhere in the back of his mind, is like, yep, I knew I was supposed to discard that Ichigaki. Not useful at all.
Definitely was not going to come up, right? So, yeah, just very heads up to realize that not only is it every time he plays Vast Hybrid, but it's every time he spins the wheel on those 8 cards removed. If any of those are a Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken, it becomes because it's a character enhance, you can't even respond with the asset to that. So yeah, very tough.
Looks like we've committed the greater goal, one of the best defensive pieces that Elder has, but because we committed that Fierce Wings that we picked up previously, just built in a second one and said, hey, you got to have another Chimera Kraken in order to deal with both of these. Looking like...
Got Invisible Infiltration. We've got a Moth. Okay.
I cannot tell what the middle card is. It might be a World's Weakest Hunter? I am unsure, truthfully.
I want to say it's a Sweeping Daggers, but it doesn't matter.
I think it is.
We discarded one and drew 3 with our Electric Moth, and that is an incredible... I mean, Brother, if I could play Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken and it draws me 3 cards every time, sign me up.
Holy cow.
Sign me up. That is insane. And, Elder Toguro has to put up this big stage because he's going to be destroying his own foundations for cost. He's going to be blocking these moves. And Nick, into this matchup, it's so good for Nick Reagan that he gives 2 speed and 2 damage and not one or the other.
We checked the 2 on that. It doesn't matter. We did have the life in danger there, but the runaway dropping Wub all the way down to 4 health and committing most, if not all, of our board here on Nick's side. Bit of action, body language. He's like, hey, I just got that by greater goal. What the heck?
And so a lot of times we talk about, as students of the sport, right? It can be incredibly difficult to go back and look through a UniVersus game and find a mistake or find even a good play. And I think we're going to see the ramifications of committing and freezing that 0 diff earlier on in the game. That was something that we chose not to use, right? Not to have for our attacking turn. And if we had it now, it could be the difference between playing another 5 difficulty move and keeping Nick Reagan ready or not. So luckily we have the waitlist, so I can't tell if we're at 4. No, we're at 5 foundations. So it looks like we can play one more move, but what if we check a 2 again?
We just I think we cracked a pack on the lightning rod. We just built in 2 extras. We're good.
Well, never mind. The Nick Reagan deck's got it covered.
It's fine. It's fine. The question that Nick has asked has never been how many attacks can I draw? It's how do I play them all? Which is one of the things that the all symbol deck just doesn't have access to, is the card pool clearing, the extra building. But it feels like Air Nick, although a little more volatile with its checking, a little less consistent, certainly is able to sling these moves over and over and over again.
All right, so we've got Electric Moth on a 7. We are going to check a 5. We commit those 2 ephemeral foundations that are going to be gone later. A really interesting stuff that we've never used the Ryukyu agency trainees. And there was a game previously in a stream match where it was Carson Panos couldn't use Ryukyu agency trainees because he could not generate the card advantage to afford a foundation being built. It was incredible to watch because he had latent skill, but he had to fight against keeping alerts. And he had to, go down to 2 cards, and then he needs those 2 cards to discard to draw 2 more. And so it never came into play. And it looks like Wub's got the handshake. That's the fastest 2-0 versus an Elder Toguro I've ever seen in my life.
That was very, very fast. And it was all based on just an efficient deck. A lot of incredible abilities, and being able to stack abilities on top of each other, put out a bunch of stats, and just overwhelm what this toolbox deck can do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's kind of feast or famine when it comes to the Elder Toguro decks. There are some times where you just never see the barrier shield, right? You never see an invincible body or a reset. We didn't really have anything to combine with greater goal. It looked like Wub had a lot of great individual pieces, but there was never a poke turn. There was never a big maximum overhaul turn. We never generated a ton of card advantage from a big enhance or a play. It was just build and hope I can defend, and none of these cards really got to work because of Vast Hybrid Chimera Kraken.
Absolutely. Incredible game. Very cool. Very awesome. This was a fun round, but neither of these players, well, you're not out yet. If you're going back, I know you rewatch all of your games on stream. You're not out. We still have one more very exciting round. But before we get to that, I would love to sit down and have a talk with Ross about his choice on this deck. This Air Nick Reagan deck, we're going to talk with a master, it seems. Currently 6-0, headed into the final round. Absolutely guaranteeing his top cut. We will be seeing Ross in top cuts for this for the Albuquerque Regional.
So first one to win on stream.
Yes, yeah. So don't go anywhere, anybody. We will be right back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Player interview here with Ross A. And I got a bit of a story. Last time we played was at the Rockford Double Case Tournament.
True.
I was on Beast Titan, and you were on Bionic Menace.
Bionic Menace, my beloved, yeah.
A character that removed cards from the top of their deck for +2/+2. Is the solution you just needed to remove more cards?
Yeah, I have a type. So I took everything I have not to play Bionic because I played him all of last year.
Sure.
I left him at home.
Left him at home. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
that's character growth.
It was a big deal. Yeah.
And it paid off.
It was awesome.
It paid off. You traded one Godzilla for another Menace, Nick Reagan, on the symbol that truly nobody expected. I expected Nick Reagan to come in and be the most represented character. Yeah. I was expecting to see true 100% flying, and you said, no. The air symbol. All of Let's Talk UVS said the air symbol.
Yeah.
Where did this come from? Where'd the technology
Sure. So it's actually a real good team story. So TC on our team has a local. His name's George. He's Master George on the Discord.
Sure.
And he is a local for TC, and he showed up to locals with this deck. And then TC's like, well, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So he brought it, and then it started testing really, really, really well. And then we all sort of iterated on it, and a lot of us just came to the conclusion that we felt like this was the best deck. And I was a late adopter. I almost didn't play this deck this weekend. So,
almost a Bionic Menace.
Yeah, almost Bionic Menace. But, yeah. So that's the genesis of the deck. We tested for a couple weeks and just started feeling really good about it. Yeah.
We've seen now the third Nick Reagan on air on the stream.
Yeah.
First one got waxed a little bit. Second one was running a Warp Gate portal. Yeah. And we were talking in between the rounds, and I mentioned on the cast that you opted not to play the one check.
Correct.
What was the thought process here?
Yeah, I didn't feel like just playing 7 rounds today and being terrified every time I built my first foundation. And then the testing, I test a lot with Will Anderson. He's on the team.
Yeah.
His character cards out this weekend. Congratulations. And he was like, I don't think you need Warp Gate Portal. And I was like, all right, well, you have the character card, so I'll take your advice. And then the deck has so much filter and draw and all the tools that I didn't feel like I needed it. So
it showed. It really, really showed of the differences between air and all. I think that you were playing absolutely out of your mind. Like the plays that you were making were so good. You walked over here and were like, "Oh, I misplayed," and I was like, "Where, dude? Where?" It was so rock solid the entire time.
Yeah.
Put on so much pressure. You were so intelligent with your building and how you were attacking, which enhances you were splicing on.
Yeah.
It was great.
Thank
it was
you.
so
Really
good.
appreciate it.
And congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here, any final thoughts and shout-outs?
Yeah, shout-outs to Let's Talk UVS. So this is barely my deck. I added Frog Strike was like an MVP today.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a late addition to the deck. But yeah, shout-out to George, who's not even on the team. Shout-out to TC. Shout-out to all my locals at Frost Giant Games. My daughter, Vanilla, who might be watching right now, who plays the game with me and is an amazing player in her own right. So yeah, it's really incredible.
That's very awesome. Big shout out to Vanilla. I can't wait to see you at the next regional. It's going to be very cool. Very cool. With that, thank you all for watching, everybody. We are going to be back after a short break with round 7, the last round, a round that some people don't even have to play because they're walking into this tournament as Swiss champ. Let's go. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We will be right back.
Oh, we're live? I was had my game face on here. Okay. Sorry, this ear is almost deaf, and it's the ear that's uncovered. So that is a slight problem. Okay. So we're live. I've got Elijah here. We've got like 15 minutes until the next round. Figured we'd go talk to some players about their experiences this weekend. Elijah, you are kind of a newer player, right? When did you join the game?
I started playing in August, right when AOT 1 came out.
Okay.
So
you are one of the fabled beginners that came in with Attack on Titan. It actually happened.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't play the game if Attack on Titan wasn't in it.
Yeah, and you've got the Attack on Titan shirt and everything. Is Levi your favorite, or who's your favorite?
It's either Levi or Zeke.
Levi
I think they're
Zeke?
both so cool.
Do you want to make a Zeke? You haven't played Levi or Zeke yet in the game. Is there a reason, or is one of them speaking to you?
I have played Levi, but I'm not an aggro player.
Okay.
I just want to sit there forever. And then I don't. Zeke is cool. I'll probably build the new one in AOT 3. He's really sick.
Yeah. And so today you were playing Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. You were playing his latest character, the On the Move, and transitioning to Quirks Unleashed. Why did you pick that character for this event? And how is the event currently going for you? Where are you in the standings?
Yeah, I'm 3-1-2 right now. So was it 3 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties?
2 draws.
Yeah. I picked the deck because it has just really, really powerful defense. Flashing a move. You know, we have all these decks right now that are trying to go to the enhanced step, like Nick Reagan. You know, that deck, the actual stats aren't that good until they enhance.
Right.
So skipping the first move, and then I knew about the Air Nick Reagan deck, which, you know, we've all seen how crazy that is. That stops them from clearing, so I'm kind of stuffing their card pool. Just a really powerful defense, and then it's a control deck that actually is able to kill people eventually.
Right. So how many were you more on the one punch version, or were you playing I saw there were I think 5 different Midoriyas out there today. So but you're more on like the one punch, take him out.
Yeah, I think one punch is way better because it leads to you having better builds, which also leads to you being able to run better defensive foundations. Like the other lists aren't running Shutdown or Cheerleader, which are just extra flashes, just playing into the game plan even more. And usually it's more like a 2-punch anyways. You like play like the Fajin and you get a bunch of resources. Yeah,
if you Cheerleader a move and then you Quirks Unleash flash a move, it's really a turn ender. It's very, very hard to push through your card pool being clogged and you didn't get to do any of your cool stuff yet. It's really counting on you drawing a lot of attacks too to push through that. So let's talk about the event. Is this your first major event in person?
Yeah, it's my first event for this game. It's been really good
because you won the latest Ace Arena, right?
I did
on the for webcam.
Yeah,
that was on Mitch, but you switched from Mitch because of VM.
Yeah, VME, and I don't think it was well positioned to the Air Nick deck.
Yeah. So with this being your first regional, what has been your biggest highlight of coming here, and then what's been your biggest low light? Like what do you like if you could fix one thing? If you were, you know, a UVS employee or something, and you could fix one thing about a regional, what would you fix to make it better? But also, what was your favorite part of this weekend?
Yeah, I'll start with the good. It's just been so much fun hanging out. The event has ran really smoothly. I can't really think of anything wrong with how the actual event is being organized, except the fact we didn't get a lunch break. Yeah, that just kind of sucked. But
for your viewers at home, there was a hero. One of the players here stood up when they announced no lunch break, and he said he's buying pizza for all 86 players in this room starting in about 1 hour.
Yeah, so that was awesome. That guy's my hero for that, honestly.
Okay, so how many, let's say you're at your hungriest, and, you know, let's pretend, how many slices of pizza could you eat in a single sitting?
Oh, man. I think I could eat a whole pizza. I'm not going to lie.
A whole pizza's weak. Could you do 2 pizzas?
At my hungriest, I'm trying to think. I probably could. I could probably do like a pizza and a half. That'd be my best bet.
12 slices. Okay, let's see it. Let's take advantage of this kind person getting pizza.
Wow, we're taking advantage of the charitable.
Yeah, let's all eat 12 slices. All right. Well, any shout outs you want to give before you take off here?
Shout outs to Let's Talk UVS team. You know.
Yeah.
Love everyone on the team. Big shout out to Kai and Cohen from the UK, the little UK homies I always call them. I love those guys. They helped me test a lot for this. Yeah, those are the main ones that stand out to me.
Awesome. Yeah, they are constantly looking for games and helping out.
Those guys are like the next Kevin Brobergs of the game, I swear. Like, they play so much. They're getting so good. Yeah. Like, I'm big believer in them.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Kai and Cohen are the next Kevin Brobergs. We'll go grab a couple other players and see you guys in a little bit.
Welcome back, everybody. I am Sam Tate, and I am joined by everyone's favorite UK player, Brett Pendragon. Brett, you're all the way here in the States for a regional?
Yes, no other reason. I just decided to spend a couple of grand coming out here to play in Albuquerque. Loving the desert heat, loving the lack of access to tea, and having an absolute blast.
It was very funny at the summit watching you pick up the teapot and just kind of like pouring a little bit out and taking a quick look and deciding better. Which
no, sweet tea is a sin.
Probably. Hey, I'm from the South, all right? There's only two types of tea, all right? Sweet tea and sweet tea with ice.
And we are also joined by Mini Sam Tate.
That's true. I don't know if you guys can see it over the stand up for him. Brett, why did you make this shirt?
So, at the UK Nationals, I wore a Guile shirt with a picture of Guile that I won't talk about because the art's not UniVersus, but that was absolutely great, and it was kind of a Sam Riegel thing. Mm-hmm. And then when it came to US Nationals, you ran up on Brett and
Jesse Cervini,
and I thought, I'm going to get him at Worlds. And it turned up the day I left for Worlds.
Oh, this was supposed to be way back.
I'm supposed to get you at Worlds with it, and it just arrived. I landed at Worlds, and I got a notification saying your parcel's been delivered. I was like, God damn it.
That figures. I think I redeemed for Attack on Titan boxes, and they showed up the day after I left for Albuquerque, or else I was going to try to do a trivia win a pack thing or whatever.
That's
with
pretty
them.
cool.
So a lot of cool stuff going on at this event. Quick backstory, I guess, for anyone who really cares. That's me holding up my Retro Series Championship mat in 2020. We did our first ever retro events, basically, where it got its name, and I'm the only person who won 2 of them. Don't zoom. You don't got to zoom, bro. But very cool stuff. Love that, Matt. Love those events. It's the year retro, so it's kind of coming full circle. But Brett, tell me about your whole experience here, because obviously you've traveled the furthest of anyone to be here, as far as I know, at least.
It's been absolutely great. I mean, I didn't get to go to Chelmsford, so this is the first event I've done of the year. The prize wall, the changes to the prize wall structure and everything seems absolutely amazing. It is a shame it wasn't implemented from the beginning, but UVS are listening to the community. They are growing and they are changing the system as they find ways to improve it, and that's a great thing for them to be doing. Yeah,
I think all anyone can really ask for is the evidence that they're listening to feedback, right? Yes. And that's how we get it. And I mean, at the very beginning, when you've got a brand new concept, getting the numbers right is usually the hardest part, finding out exactly what the economy is really going to vibe with. So I definitely think they're doing an absolutely great job. The prize wall is huge. We've got great uncut sheets. There's all these fabulous promos available. People got these they got big tickets now. So you can see people walking around a fistful of giant prize tickets, which is giving it sort of an arcadey feel, which is cool. What's been your favorite part of the weekend so far, though?
Favorite part of the weekend has just been getting to chat with people I don't get to chat with IRL. So most of the time when I come to America, it's for Worlds, and it's only people that are going to Worlds or supporting people at Worlds. And I've actually got to meet a lot of people that I chat to online or I chat to in the comments and videos that don't go to Worlds, and it's been great to actually just get to have those interactions. It's been great to just see everyone and kind of just have that kind of community vibe. It's very similar to the hospitality that we get in the UK, and it's just, I know I'm kind of a known personality for content, but I know one of the things that new players do have issues with when they go to regionals is how can I talk to people at regionals if everyone's kind of talking with each other?
Right.
And as an outsider from the UK here, even people that don't know me have been absolutely great and just chatting and finding ways to make conversation. So it's one of the things that we do have one of the most welcoming and friendly communities. And I've got to say, US, you have not let down. You have been more than gracious hosts.
Awesome. Have you gotten into a fist fight with Justin Birch yet?
No, I have.
Darn.
Actually talked to Justin Birch. He's on his redemption arc. I can't have a go to someone on the redemption arc.
Oh, he's a coward. He took the coward's way out.
Exactly.
If we don't get a recorded money match between you two guys before the weekend is over, I will consider this a failure of both of your parts, because Justin's a content creator now, so there's no excuse. You two got to go at it. I'm
more than able to get more than a lot of content creator things on here. The round is going to stand, so but I just want to quickly say that I am out of running for Top Cut. I'm 3-2-1 because Andrew Porat decided to play a true 100% on a 12 and hit me for 12 damage off that alone.
So there was 6 cards in the card pool first?
No, there was 4 in the card pool. I blocked and K-coast.
Oh, okay. That's a little more reasonable, but still, on a 12 is absolutely insane. But you're right. We did get the announcement for our final round coming up very soon. So thank you for hanging out with me. I hope we've had an excellent time, and we hope you guys stick around for the final round today. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to the final round of Swiss here at the Albuquerque Regional Championship. I, of course, am Sam Tate. We got David Toombs over here. And David, break down this final round match for the folks at home.
All right, we have a rogue deck on a win and in. We have a character right now that has never topped a regional before. It's probably one of the best characters never to have topped a regional. But we have Reiner Braun Warrior from Attack on Titan Origins of Power coming in hot. There were 5 players on Reiner Braun, which I was pretty surprised by at his representation here today. And Cameron Caldwell's on a win and in with them against the dreaded meta King Ghidorah.
Oh, no, not the King Ghidorah of the tournament. Was he second most represented?
Yep.
So, okay, there's so many people playing this character. It's never topped anything. I've never seen a list for it. I've played against it maybe one time. Which YouTuber is playing Reiner Braun Warrior out there? Which YouTuber is everyone copying? Is it you or is it Tamron Cardwell?
I have only played Reiner. I played him like a couple times when he first came out. I think Tam played him at some like WWWs.
I feel like this is like people watched Tam stream and, liked the deck and thought it was saucy. But I mean, Cameron Caldwell will have the opportunity to prove me wrong here, but until I see it in action, I have no idea what to think of this Reiner Braun deck, because it's a deck that
plays... And it's reviewing out a Jaw Titan attacks, which is not the card I thought would come out.
No. So this is... we're playing the Manipulations of Zeke Yeager as our first card. That gives me a little bit of a hint that we are potentially on a 4 checks only deck. So this could be pretty interesting, but...
Yeah, we have a knockdown blow come down as well. Oh, but a bad check there. So a 4-check tribal deck doesn't even outbuild player 1.
Yeah, but we did get some higher quality cards with that Manipulations and the Cape of No Return, multiple 3 diffs in our stage. But, Reiner Braun Warrior is a character that cares about every card type, right?
Yeah, we've got... And Cameron's got some... Yeah. When he transforms, he gets +1/+1 for every card type in his stage, kind of similar to the new Reiner Braun coming out in Apocalypse. And then he gets to mill 4, I think, on every attack, and he gets +1 damage for every different card type. If he's cycled, it's +1 speed, +1 damage. So he gets much better after having cycled.
Yeah, definitely. The cycle is a part of the game plan, and definitely a part of every Ghidorah game plan. We've seen it so much with these decks, is that Sword of the Darkness Flame. You're a little 4-diff, 4 mid 4. You can pay some life to give it stun 1, but you can also gain 2 health and draw a card, because you are always going to be at 10 or less health when you're King Ghidorah. So pretty much a free cantrip attack.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this matchup is... that Reiner has basically 2 lives, and King Ghidorah has 3 lives. So we got like 2 heads versus 3 heads, but in different styles. Reiner starts with 17, and then he flips over, and then the first attack is -5. Ghidorah gets 3 heads of 10. So that both of these players are kind of leaning in, and it's kind of common with how strong aggro is at the moment, to desire characters that have these built-in extra lives.
Yeah, and we do notice that we're working on it on the back end with the stream, that it's actually Cameron Caldwell that's on Reiner Braun Warrior, correct?
Right.
And then who do we have on King Ghidorah?
King Ghidorah is, and I will pull it up. Yeah, and Cameron's done pretty well at some... he's playing like Hanj 4 Eyes at webcam events, and
he's Smiling Titan.
Well. So... no stranger to doing well. Let me pull up our match here. It is Trenton Caudill. So Trenton has also had a lot of competitive success. King
Ghidorah.
Yeah, and he absolutely destroyed me way back in the day with younger Toguro against my Mirio in Top Cuts. So I remember Trenton pretty well as my crusher of dreams. So 2 very, very good players going at it.
Yeah, Trenton Caudill, I've talked about before on stream. He's one of the Arizona play group, so not surprised to see him here in New Mexico. Him and Alexa travel up to Las Vegas very often and beat my locals up at Store Championships. So I have been on the receiving end of many a Trenton and Alexa beatdown with many different characters. But ever since Worlds this recent year, Trenton, I believe, got 3rd or 4th. He got top 4 at Worlds playing King Ghidorah. So I am not surprised to see him stick to the game plan, stick stick to what he knows. And we now have Reiner Braun down at 2 health, but only on the front side.
Yeah, and that is going to matter. But sometimes people specifically like to not hit Reiner all the way down to transforming, because if he transforms, then your first attack is -5 damage. But now that he's not transformed, your first attack is kind of blank against him. So it's give or take, but it's not the end. It's not as bad as leaving King Ghidorah at 2 health on a head.
Exactly. Yeah, you talked about it. It's very strategic, right? If your first attack is the one that transforms Reiner Braun, then that static effect no longer applies because you've already played your first attack and it's already resolved. And speaking of first attacks, our first attack of the game is the female Titan attack. So nice little 7 diff, 7 high 7. Gonna draw us a card, no backup to ready, but this is effectively the Sword of the Darkness Flame for a 4-check deck.
Yeah, and getting to play all these shift attacks means that we don't have to play a lot of backups, and we can still take advantage of Reiner Braun's getting good stats based off of different cards in your stage once he transforms. So it looks like we'll get like +2 damage here with that mill, but this is coming in pretty fast and almost for an entire head. Couldn't quite get to 10.
Yeah, Trent had to commit a few too many cards or a few more cards than he wanted building out his foundations. But though 2 that we kept up are 2 speed reduction abilities, and unfortunately checking poorly on the barrier shield, that would have been a full block that also doesn't count towards progressive. So probably doesn't have another high block in hand, or else you'd have to assume we would have ripped off that enhance, right?
Yeah, and he lost a barrier shield because of it. He could have barrier shielded and then maybe half blocked, but check a 5 and a full block, that's a very difficult decision to make there.
Yeah, it's super tough, but luckily, just like Reiner, is not anywhere close to being defeated, because we are essentially, you can almost think of it as like 19 health and 21 health, right? Which is a really normal place to be after a turn 2 attack turn.
Yeah, and we haven't popped Cape of No Return yet. We have our female, and we do have a knockdown blow in our discard pile, so it's going to be kind of scary. Cameron's next turn here, but he didn't get to take down that head.
Yeah, it was and we put him at 1. We put him at like the optimal number, right? So pretty tough stuff, but could have been worse for both players. And we see good old evil symbol staple Vial Seizing. You want to talk about 4-diff cantrips? Boy, was this the closest thing to a 4-diff cantrip for a very long time for these symbols. Obviously, the death symbol now is just absolutely flooded with good card draw options. But on the evil symbol, you're still pretty much looking at Vial Seizing unless you are explicitly King Ghidorah, who also gets Sword of the Darkness Flame.
Yeah, and we've had a couple King Ghidorahs on stream so far, but I think they've been on Void.
Yes.
This King Ghidorah is on Evil, which opens up the true 100%. That's one of the biggest things that you lose by going to the Void symbol.
Correct.
You do get Vial Seizing. What else does the Evil symbol get over the Void symbol?
Well, Barrier Shield is definitely one of them. Invincible Body is something else to consider. Defending Pageant Queen is also another stat reset that you can build into your stage. We saw one of my favorite cards that I think is criminally underrated, Fierce Wings. Fierce Wings being a modular card that allows you to play into a lot of different strategies.
Yeah, it can pick up this 3-diff right here.
It can even pick up attacks, exactly. So this is a close combat tackle. This is a death-attuned throw. It is a 0-speed move, but that's okay. Even if you block it, it's going to deal half damage, and it commits backups. Have you ever seen that?
I did not notice that. So how
have you ever
I thought it said commit an asset.
It's Blitz. Your rival commits 1 asset or backup.
Interesting. And we lost the Cape of No Return. So we can damage reduce it down to 1 with Pull from Danger, which I imagine will be the play since there's not a way to get more damage from King Ghidorahs, which will keep us at 1 health for Reiner.
Yeah, I thought that the cape on the Vial Seizing was really interesting because it had already drawn us a card, right? And, you know, the stats of a 4 high for 7 wasn't super threatening, I would think, but maybe Cameron, for some reason, doesn't want to transform yet. Maybe he thinks that giving up that flip side, like we talked about, where the static won't matter, is an issue. But I think Trenton was attacking the backup, it looks like. The backup that he
keep him
committed.
from getting knocked down below. And I think Cameron played it safe like that because he knows it's not going to be a one more attack turn thing to kill King Ghidorah.
Right.
It's probably going to take a couple more turns at least. Yeah, so attacking the backup does get momentum. So we're building up. We saw some patchwork babies, another evil symbol Ghidorah staple. So those could be building up for a massive attack. And we cannot grab Nocturne. I almost wonder if he should have used Pull from Danger to protect his female Titan.
That is a tough one. I think that where the health totals are at, I would not protect the backup. The opportunity to put an attack to 1 damage and take 1 and still be on the front side, still have that, extra attack negate essentially is pretty good. Because when you're at 1 health, it's almost like a invincible body, right? Like you do lose the counter, but it's, you're losing 1 health on a 10 damage move. That's basically a reset. So I think having a little bit of modular fight into these 4 damage moves that aren't getting a ton of stat pumps, if you can reduce them to 1, that's huge.
Yeah. And this Smiling Titan attacks is potentially going to protect Cameron even more. He can't use the form on it on this turn, but on his next turn, he can force Trenton to attack it, and maybe that even protects his female Titans.
Right. And yeah, it's important for Cameron just to have those cards in his stage, right? Because right now we only have 3 card types in this stage. We have Foundations, we have a backup, and we have a character card. That counts.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the ideal moment quite yet, like offensively too.
Yeah, but Trent is going to check a 3, unfortunately, bringing us down to only 1 minus speed card in, or sorry, no, we checked a 5. Okay, but this move was just that fast? Wait, how fast was that move? I guess we blocked with a +3.
Yeah, we're not checking well we're really not checking well over here as Cameron. Two attacks and we only have 1.
Well, you checked a 4. How bad can he be checking, David?
Yeah.
I will not listen to this. Oh, he's not checking good in his deck that can't check bad.
That's the new UniVersus complaint is I just check 4s all the time.
He's quite literally
I check 4s.
He's quite literally checking medium.
Let's see. He cannot find different card. Okay, he got +2 damage. 6 low 8. This is at least going to take a head. I think it's probably the right move since he hasn't transformed yet. I don't think it was wrong to push and to take this first head.
I think that this is going to be a head taken. So we did blitz and gain the 2 health, I believe. And so we're going to be at,
maybe we could half block or, half block something and have that extra 2 health really matter.
Yeah, it goes back to the damage reduction argument, right? Like now it's just a little bit more of a gap to keep this head and a little bit more modular on what counts as, negating an entire attack. But we're also going to get some more backups. That doesn't really add more damage to Reiner, but this asset will.
Yeah, and Trenton has to be careful because if he does transform the Reiner, then he now gets +4/+4 with those.
Correct.
Because it's going to be hard to kill both of those backups. Knott's Flask has now entered the stage. So I think it's probably a pretty wise decision to build here.
I think the biggest issue for me, though, is Cameron could have taken some momentum. And on the flip side, when Reiner does the stat pump ability, he also gets the option to add a card from momentum back to his hand. So having those attacks stashed for later could have become essential to being able to keep the pressure up against a King Ghidorah, because the bigger that Ghidorah stage gets, the further and further away a head counter seems.
Yeah, dismantling the wall, a huge throw coming in.
This is I like to call this one the Bill Evans special, because he's the only person I've seen play this card before today. And every time he plays in Godzilla, and every time it's like the one card where I'm like, well, I guess I have to block it because it's 12 damage, but I don't want to block this throw. Yeah.
And we don't have like a lot of, we have Invincible Body, Nonagon Sealing does take away throw, correct?
Correct. Throw is an ability, so it will lose it and can't gain it. Which is huge here. This is effectively throw hate on a 2-speed move, right? So that's absolutely massive. But there are some other ways for the evil symbol to deal with throws. We do also have Invincible Body that maybe we're down to play footsies around, but
looks like that's what he's going to be doing here.
But I do agree that like Nonagon to mid block seems like the safest option.
Combined firepower to...
I guess we're blocking for half and taking 5. Playing it very conservatively with our defensive fixtures.
And like you said, he's building out so he can grab that momentum. It's not going to shift, and he can grab it back when he transforms.
Yeah, this could be the kind of thing where I could be wrong, but on the transform side, I believe Reiner can do his recursion ability on your turn. It does make him like super remove cards, and you probably want to already be cycled, so there's only so much you can get away with it. But this could be the kind of thing where every time Trenton attacks Cameron on the backside, he's going to add that throw back to his hand and play it every turn and create like this toxic sort of like, you better be killing me sort of loop, because Trenton's deck is also kind of grindy and has another throw with Nebulous Stare. And so it's not playing like big flashy moves. It's playing like low to the ground, grindy, reliable throws, which not a lot of decks are really getting away with right now.
Yeah, both of them selectively including throws, not selling out their attack package to it, but
you really can't, right? When's there been a deck that's been mono throw since like 2021?
I think it's always been a trap of like newer players to say, wait a second, this always deals half. I'll just make all my deck throws. And then
there was a time and a place. There was a time and a place where it was called throws and lows. You would play like 14 throw attacks, and like you'd have the one best low attack that just isn't a throw but does a million other things or is a good block. But you know, we haven't really seen a concentrated I'm throwing you to death deck in a long time.
It just takes a long time. But at the same time, King Ghidorah drags the game out.
Right.
So, and all of these throws are going to equal Patchwork Baby stats at some point in the game.
In the next set, we're going to get a delicious new foundation that is form commit, add a momentum back to your hand, and that was a huge part of the throw decks when I started playing the game, was a very similar foundation with that same ability. So it could come back, but we do have Nebulous there. It looks like it's only going to deal 2 damage. It did deal, but we haven't transformed yet.
No, I think because, I mean, if Cameron's feeling threatened, he has access to -6 damage at any time between Flask and Pull from Danger.
Yeah. It's just they've still got it on the stat page there. So I want to make sure. There's a chance this move did 0 damage. And they just haven't updated us. So we'll get it shown pretty soon, but it looks like Reiner Braun's still on the front side, still not able to punch through, because I feel like
he might have wanted to transform. Maybe that, but if it had dealt it, he would have transformed. So I'm confused like you.
Yeah. He's going to build it face down. Okay. Nope, 5-4. That move did not deal damage.
Interesting.
Yeah, we definitely missed something here.
Yeah, we missed a 0 out.
It's been a long day, and we were having a little too much fun. But, yeah, that one went down to 0. Oh, maybe he's attacking backups again.
It could have been
attacking the backups. That's the secret. It's still so new. It's still so new to me. And hey, when
I wish they would put something on there, like the judge, like it's attacking target, this. Yeah, like an arrow.
That's the next step. We've got the sealed. We've got like the frozen tags. We got to get the target tag now, because that is something that we never really had cadence for in the game until last year, right? And it's something I've straight up forgotten to do. I have like played my attack, and then when I go to blitz, I'm like, oh, I'm attacking your backup, and it's like, when do you officially announce your target, right?
Yeah. And Jaw Titan can't do anything at 1 health. it has to lose 2 stamina to give speed. So
Correct.
it is it's still alive out there, which helps the transform side. It's not really doing anything. Although now that Reiner has cycled, even without transforming, he's now going to be getting +1 speed and +1 damage per different card type milled. So his character has leveled up in a sense without transforming.
Once he's cycled, it's way less of a deal to make him transform, and it's probably better at that point because then he is directly removing the cards. And I would not be surprised if you told me a Ghidorah 1 versus Reiner Braun Warrior via the mill condition, via just outlasting him. And that might be what Trenton has to do, because Cameron has played really solid defense into this, slower paced offense that Trenton has for his Ghidorah list.
Yeah, he just deadlocked on the pull from danger to get stun 2.
Okay.
Which tells me that if you're getting rid of your damage reduction and going for the stun 2, I think Cameron thinks he has a line here.
At the very least, he's not worried about straight losing next turn through the transform, right? He's not worried about -3 damage.
Because this throw is now saying it takes a head on a half. So here comes the invincible body.
Are you sure we didn't commit the pulled from danger to pass the check? Which same value assessment.
It might have been. It might have been.
Yeah, same value assessment, but the right idea is.
But it wouldn't be signaling a long attack turn. If he committed it to pass the check, it's just. But I don't know if he was planning to poke, he probably would have committed like monster aggression, right?
Right, if you weren't, or inspiring song even. So I mean, like I said, the idea is still there. It's still a sound idea. We are going to see the stat pump from the female Titan there on the transform side. So 5 mid for 11, big chunky boy. Do we have actual throw hate? We do we have the Nonagon in stage?
It just
still
blew up for +1/+1. Yeah, I don't see where the Nonagon went.
It looks like we responded. It looks like it's the top of the discard pile.
I see. So he has taken away throw, and that would explain Cameron adding up all this speed as, okay, you don't want to make it a throw. Well, I'm going to make you really hurt.
Right. And it's just not going to matter, baby.
He just wasted all of that speed.
Yes. It's just that I mean, that's part of the Ghidorah game plan to a T. That's the biggest difference, like you said, between the Void version and the other 2 symbols is that true 100% Unleash just coming in as a free block, and combined with the Nonagon, we take no damage.
Yeah, now we have a very healthy board here on Trenton. Cameron needs to be careful not to overextend, but he wants to go for that head. Knockdown blow plus another shift attack probably, maybe, or at least it can get through Invincible Body. It can at least force it to get used.
Yeah, I would love to see what the move that comes after this is, because a lot of times after the knockdown blow, it says your neck. Oh, okay. All right, manipulations of Zeke Yeager. Okay. I was going to say, a lot of times after the knockdown blow, it's not necessarily a shift attack or a backup that you play immediately, but you instead still hold that check bonus, or I like to stack them. I love to play knockdown blow,
knockdown, he can go knockdown, now
and
get a third attack.
Like Colossus Titan attacks with like +6 to the damage and +6 to the check. So I'm a huge fan of that move. And I'm really curious to see what we're going to do after this, because if we have a throw that's just +6 damage, I don't know what Trenton can do at that point. I don't know what throw hate we're main boarding now that our Nonagon is in the discard pile.
Well, the throw does not get damage from knockdown blow. It has to be a shift attack, unfortunately.
Well, Colossus Titan attacks is a throw.
Colossal Titan is actually okay. Yeah. There is a throw. There is a
throw. I don't know if he's playing it.
It's a big one.
Yeah, you're right. I did say the throw, which would be the throw.
I was thinking of dismantling.
You're right. You're fair, but yeah, no, and that's what I'm talking about. We could see the throw into a shift move after that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot
+6 to the check means a Colossus could be passed.
Yeah, so there's a lot that's going on here. But also not a lot being gained here. But it looks like we did finally take the second head, and only 10 more damage to deal. Jaw Titan attacks coming down on an 8. Can't possibly fail this one. +3 to the check and +3 damage. It's a 6 low for 9. We're going to gain 2 more health with the Blitz, and we're going to put Ghidorah in a pretty awkward position. This doesn't win the game, but you don't want to go to 1.
I think Ghidorah almost has to use the Invincible Body here, because if you take damage, then the invincible body is effectively useless throughout the game because
Right.
they can just DR it, they can just damage enhance it up to lethal again. And so the invincible body, I think, probably has to get popped.
There's a lot of speed reduction in Trenton's stage, though. We've got multiple incubatings. I believe
That's true. He can block.
Yeah,
he's allowed to block.
we have like -4 or 5 speed from the stage, it looks like. So, quick to act, incubatings. I think a barrier shield would obviously be really helpful. We saw that unfortunate barrier shield get failed as a block, but I wouldn't hate the invincible body play, except there's still Knots Flask waiting and looming, but it's not a terrible play.
Yeah. No, it's almost assuredly a block here. Yeah, here it comes.
Still blocking on a 10, though.
It was kind of interesting to even play the Jaw Titan because you could have just built. I guess it's a free check, but like it wasn't going to do anything. But I guess you get to re-heal your Jaw Titan down there.
You get to find out if your opponent blocks with an attack.
That's
Maybe
true.
it's a
That's
Sword
true.
of the
Maybe
Darkness play that he blocks with.
So check a 4 on a 6 here. Sean Gilmore says we get +2 to our check.
The battle arena of backups.
Check a 6, but
that one was on a 7. Yeah, so a very high difficulty turn for Cameron Caldwell, but Trenton still lots to give, still lots to do in this game.
This
still
could
lots
be a
of
turn
options.
he goes in. This could be the turn for King Ghidorah too.
This could easily be like a stun 2 6 damage move into a true 100, right? And that's 3 6 plus 8 damage. It's an 11 damage true 100. That's almost all the damage you need to do on the second move. So something like that, something shaped like that. I think instead we're probably going to see like a 4 damage throw.
Trenton's been very patient this game. He's waiting to see the right cards, but it's here comes the true 100%.
No, we're going straight into the true 100 here. So this is going to fight over the -3 damage from Knots Flask, but I'm not exactly sure on the blocking prospects here. We have a +2 to our check and 1, 2, 3 cards to commit. So if we check a 5, we can block a 10 speed move. Almost enough for the true 100%, which is at 11 or is that 12?
That's a lot of dice.
Oh, it's your readies for the speed. So it is a lot of dice. So yeah, +10, +9 is the official stat line here. So 13 mid for 12. I think we're going to see a Reiner transform, huh, bud?
Almost 100%. And it feels good as Reiner
100%
Warrior
is
too.
unleashed. This is true 100%, not almost 100%.
It feels good to you wasted your big. Oh my gosh! No way. He's going to go to 1.
Oh no, he's still gonna. Oh yeah, it's 3. No, it's 3. He's gonna go to 3.
It's 3.
That's absolutely crazy. We're gonna pay the 3 life. The runaway from out of nowhere, protecting us from.
I haven't seen a single one.
Yeah, no, it hasn't come up yet, and that's that. That's that ace in the hole, and we're gonna see a scoop. We're scooping to the runaway. I mean, Trenton's at 10. He is that far behind, and Reiner is going to be at the point where he's giving 4-4.
I know why. There's 32 minutes left in the round. If they tie, they are both out of top cuts. This is a win and in. So he knows that I need to get 2 wins, and I'm not in a winning position after that runaway. I think that runaway just changed everything.
That runaway definitely changed the tournament run for at least one of these players, but Trent's not out of it yet. That was absolutely clutch. That's the definition of clutch. And, King Ghidorah is usually one of these really solid, untouchable wall characters. And instead, we just saw absolute aggression, high base values, and a little bad check here and there in the early game. That's really setting the tone against this Ghidorah deck.
Yeah, it was very impressive how Cameron went down to 2 health early on, and he never transformed. He was gaining health most of the time throughout the game with the Jaw Titans.
Yeah, he was absolutely down to face tank in the beginning, gave Ghidorah momentum, but couldn't quite close it out. As these players are pile shuffling, let's talk about how they have the exact same sleeves. What a coincidence.
Those were recently on the reward store. I also bought some and just sleeved up a deck with those.
Okay, that makes sense. I thought maybe there was an instance where they had some not okay for stream sleeves. Maybe they're like an IP that we can't feature, right? It's not an official art of our licenses or something like that. And they had to give them both like, loaner sleeves or something. But no, that makes more sense that they just came in. They're brand new.
The reward store has been pretty hit or miss. It's been like there's been some bad weeks and then there's been some great weeks. Like this last week, I got a box of Battle for Humanity and a box of Origins of Power, cashing in my points, which unfortunately left me no leftover loyalty points to get the moment of normalcy.
Now they're going to bring something great out. They're going to bring something so good, and you're going to be so mad. I also depleted all my points on a box of Battle for Power and a box of Battle for Power. I'm
Origins.
Such a boomer. Battle for Humanity and Origins of Power. See what they did there? They took Battle for Power and they split into 2 sets. I just bought a box of each myself, and I was really hoping to bring it with me and do like some content where I do like a trivia win a pack thing with it, but it wasn't in the cards, as they say. But Louisville, I'll be at Louisville. Maybe I'll bring them then.
I just signed up for Louisville as a player. So
okay.
I'm excited for that. You better put me on stream.
Only if you're playing Air Nick Reagan, apparently.
Yeah. I'll play some sauce. Maybe I'll copy Cameron's deck.
I mean, it's working so far. It's looking pretty good. And almost the 5 build. Almost and we didn't even see like a cheesy, super good, extra build from Cameron, even though he has the 4-check deck. But we did see that quality come into play, right? Yeah. Having that manipulations of Zeke was huge. That's the reason Trenton's scooped is he saw on the turn before Cameron was just like manipulations to hit a bomb, to hit a bomb. So, that was definitely something to consider. And it's such a hard decision to make. It feels so wrong in UniVersus compared to just about any other card game where you always have some chance at victory, but you got to see the writing on the wall when it's present,
Especially in a game like this. A draw is not an option for these players.
A draw is not an option, and running out of time is not an option, because if the first game took more than 30 minutes to complete, who's to say that even if Trenton was going to win, it wouldn't take more than 30 minutes to get there?
And that double, defending Pageant Queen? Really good against 4-check tribal decks, because a lot of resets take things back to printed. But that takes it down to 1 speed. So much, much better against these 4-check tribal decks, or like Smiling Titans and whatnot. But the Invincible Body and the defending Pageant Queens, taking something down even below printed, come up big.
All right, we do get the block coming in here. Going to go down to 14, though.
Yeah, it is a half block. Cameron, to some extent, is okay, like blocking with attacks even on halves, because you have the manipulations of Zeke Yeager. Like, you are going to be finding your attacks.
Yeah, we play our 3-diff throw, and we still check a 3 on a 4, so we are going to have to commit 1 card, but it's early in the game. We have 2 Pageant Queens. Don't know if that's the card I would commit, though, still. Against these 4-check decks, I don't know how much -1 damage is really helping me, but having the +1 damage on this move does mean the partial is 3 damage instead of 2, so
it can be even on just 5 foundations. There's definitely a world where he draws double knockdown blow and plays 4-check attacks and goes crazy, and then we're kind of sad that we got rid of it. But at the same time, we don't want to pop half of our foundations on defense. So
instead we see 2 combined firepowers coming in here. Now, this deck is not super dedicated to the casino jackpot variant, so only 4 damage coming down, which isn't great for 2 cards played, but luckily they're free cards. They don't count towards progressive, and we played them from our discard pile, but this one is going to get blocked all the same, and we go down to 10. I'm getting a little deja vu, partner. I feel like we've been in this board state before.
Yeah, he is okay taking these moves. We tried our best with the firepowers, but
another 3 and another 3.
Not what we wanted to see on our build out. And now he's looking through his, because every 3 you check is also fewer attacks that you're going to be drawing in the future.
Luckily, Ghidorah gets to go fish 1 up, but it's not where you want to be, having to fight for your life.
All right. Does he try and push in some value? He does not. Build in that. That 3 diff, the fire one. That's like you take damage, you get to draw something, you get to mill, and then pick one of those up to your hand. I can't quite remember, but it's something with selective.
That's a critical role card.
How's a critical role card? I've got to look this one up.
Was it the Grace of the Everlight? Something.
Yeah. Everlight's Grace.
Everlight's Grace. That's it. Yeah. No, that is that's a Bert. That's technically a Bert Holt card that says after you mill a card, or after you mill an attack, you may add it to your hand.
Ah, I see. So it's like even more manipulations of Zeke Yeager.
Yeah, it's after you mill or check a card. Yeah, it's 3 diff manipulations basically.
Yeah. And that's going to allow Cameron to get away with this. Because one of the things about like a low attack ratio, because Reiner wants to be playing all these different card types, and so it's nice to be able to play a little lower of an attack ratio so that you can still get those consistent foundation builds, and these kind of cards will find them.
We see the activation right now, and so we just milled 4 cards, and we decided to add one to our hand. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, even more ways to get knockdown blow.
Yep, so this is yet another Sword of the Darkness Flame, this time for 6 damage, and it's going to connect. Cameron, following the game plan from game 1, we partialed a lot. We were not greedy with our attacks, and now we're face tanking down to 4. But this is about where things halted last game. This is about where Cameron became a little untouchable, and now we're seeing Trenton check poorly again.
Yeah, but this Patchwork Baby is definitely going to force a transformation. I say that, but unless the runaway comes down, he takes 1. But
I don't think he's going to spend the resource. I don't think he's going to choose to spend the resources. That's my take. I don't think it would require him to EX for 6 here, and it's still potentially blockable with double Nice Try.
You think so?
If it goes, I guess it'll get 3 more speed. Oh, it'll get up to 12, and you can bring it down to 8. That's just about blockable.
It's definitely close.
We have a Sean in our stage for +2 to the check.
That's true. That's like 6 foundations ready.
So
basically 8 foundations ready with the Nice Tries. Yeah.
So it's iffy. You'd still be taking a chance, I think, we're assuming you have a good block mod and all that. And
so there it goes. Stuff. He just spent him. He's almost assuredly spending it on speed. And there go the Nice Try. So
he's fighting back, so he's going to try. So he did spend it, and it is going to be a battle of the speed wars here, a battle of the checks.
Yeah, it'll be 10 speed. This will make it 8 speed. Sean Gilmore effectively makes it 6 speed.
Fast Friendship coming in for -3.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be blockable. Which, yeah, like you said, it feels bad to waste 2 of your momentum and then for it to get blocked.
I really didn't think he was going to spend it. I didn't think he was going to spend it. I thought it was going to be recognizably blockable. But this is where we're at in the game. We're trying to make something happen. Maybe there is a potential follow-up that makes this seem like a really good play.
It could just be not recognizing Sean Gilmore, too.
Yeah, well, and and so you do have to make him use the Fast Friendship at some point, I guess. But I don't know, David. Sometimes these are the plays you have to make. This could be the setup. I don't know for sure, but a second Patchwork Baby would have felt really good if we still had the momentum, doubling up on that stun to pressure the stage and maybe bait the block on the first one. But a lot of resources spent on Trenton's side. Not sure what we're going to get for it. Looks like we passed that check on a 4, and there has to be another attack. You got to go for it. You got to do something.
It's scary. It's scary with 3 committed.
No, get the transformation. Well, okay,
we just like game 1 of
never mind.
He goes down to 4, and then he's just untouchable at that point. Something magical happens.
Yeah, Trent checked another 3, so it looks like it was the right call to back off. But, I can't relate, David. I'm just so good at the game. I always check well.
Trenton is doing the... I think he checked the 3 on almost every card.
I think so, too.
Except for the opener, maybe.
He definitely checked the 3 back-to-back, so... It doesn't feel good.
The EX could be after checking a 3 on the Patchwork, the EX could be a little bit of tilt, Like you scooped game 1, so you're already a little tilted. Then you check the 3 on Patrick, maybe it starts to feel like, geez, is the universe against me? And then you just like, I'm owed this, spend my momentum.
It's pretty rare that a 12 speed move doesn't deal damage.
Right.
But our rival stage is like old school speed reduction. Like this is just like, I don't know, circa 2023 speed reduction, right? Like we just got multiple -2s. We got a flip for -3, and more than half of our stage is minus speed and things to help us block. Like that's very old school.
Yeah, this is one of the times where nice try kind of works. I've always been a nice try is overrated kind of person, but since we know that we're going to be committing foundations to pass checks, then nice try is more guaranteed value.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what Trenton does defensively here, because we saw him get burned for trying to be conservative with barrier shields and stuff like that. And, checking a 5 has not been his friend. And while we did check well and we got a breaker block out, that's not slowing Cameron down at all, as we see. Is this dismantling the wall again, or is this...
Yeah, dismantling the wall. So it did not soak up the check bonus from the knockdown blow, which means another one is going to be coming down.
Yeah, correct. So we fought through the breaker with the Sean, but we still have a +3 to a shift attack, or potentially a backup. There are some backups in there, but that wouldn't be how you want to spend your +3 check bonus.
Yeah, it looks like we passed it by committing Sean Gilmore. Earlier, we do have a monster aggression 2 to blow up our committed foundations. Inspiring song. It's definitely time to go hunt some heads.
He checks a 3 on a 5. You can see the tilt, right? This is one of those moments where you feel like you can be making the right plays, and it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how conservative you play. It doesn't matter how much you respect your opponent. Yeah, it doesn't matter how much you respect your opponent when you're only going to be seeing 3 checks here, when you're only going to be seeing, this level of
and he readies Sean Gilmore.
Right, so we can even have another attack after this. I mean, luckily, Trenton still has 3 head tokens, so 3 head counters, sorry. But
we take the head and we back off, and we say we can go grab knockdown blow now. Maybe we push to get the invincible body out.
We're enhancing with barrier shield. Love this. So yeah. So this is probably not going to get ahead with this attack. And the breaker is going to cancel out the Sean. But we also have an inspiring song, it looks like.
It's going to be hard. Yeah, this is pretty good defense. Like for everything going wrong for Trenton, to still be at 3 heads, barrier shield is a heck of a card against 4-check tribal.
Yeah, but this has to be a complete block, right? Oh, breaker 3. He checked another attack, and you can see even when he's passing checks, it's frustrating because of the number of attacks that we're checking. But we have no cards in hand, and the total check modifier is -1 only. So there could have been, and then we did check as badly as we can, but we could have definitely passed another attack into that breaker, which is crazy to think about.
Now it's our turn to check bad, but when we do it, we don't do it as badly. And the 2 nice tries are going to re-ready. So it's a decently good spot to be in, untransformed, but definitely, I think, a disappointing turn in the end for Reiner Braun because you didn't take that head.
Yeah, I'll say there is definitely a world where, as Cameron, you might want to transform. You might want to bait that. But you wouldn't want to telegraph that to your opponent, and it's still a pretty narrow world where you can control it, and feel safe about it. But we are running out of time in this game too. Trenton still has to win 2 games. Cameron has to win 1 more.
Yeah,
if he
Cameron
loses,
has to decide, am I going to try and win a game 3, or am I going to? Is there a world I survive 17 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you know you're going to lose this, Cameron, I guess you scoop and try to turn to a Ghidorah.
You only scoop if you think you can't live. Because he could just choose to try and live.
I just said if you're going to lose, as soon as you know you're going to lose, you got to scoop.
Right. And the double defending pageant queens really feels bad.
Yeah, and it's so weird because Ghidorah's stage looks so good. at the start of every turn. But by the time Cameron's attacking him, it's like, what am I supposed to do with these cards, right? What value could they possibly have down here in my stage as everything's getting turned sideways regardless of what I do? But double Pageant Queen feels real good. Some more card draw. -3 speed on the rifle arm is pretty solid, but we went down to 2 cards in hand.
Well, we knew that he would be drawing mostly gray.
Yes.
Because he's lost pretty much all of his attacks.
Yeah. All right, if you're Cameron now, all you got to do is not blow it, right? Mm-hmm. You basically just got to not be so susceptible to losing and so overextending. But he could also just win the game right here by picking up knockdown blow. Never mind, we're going to win.
Well, for Trenton, you almost have to start attacking even when you're not sure you have lethal, because you don't have the luxury of just waiting to have the perfect hand, because you need to win in realistically in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. It kind of sucks, but at this point Trent is kind of just trying to play spoiler to Cameron, right? There's not much there's not many ways I can imagine this Ghidorah deck winning a 10-minute match, winning a 10-minute game. There are a few ways I can see this Reiner Braun deck doing it, but it's still really ridiculous to think that they could do so.
Yeah, and for the players, there's still something to fight for to get that draw, because top 16 gets a lot more champion points than top 32. So I think it's True. 50 to top 16 and 25 to top 32. So there's still a lot to fight for. It's not just being mean, and keeping someone out of tops. Getting top 16, that's 50 championship points towards going to Worlds.
Yeah, that is a pretty big difference. I mean, you got to get to day 2. You got to get to day 2. Day 2 is where the event really begins. That is the worlds beyond worlds at that point. So the more points, the better. And you're right, it is a pretty steep drop off. And this is an 11 mid for 11 high. Sorry,
it's going down to 1. It feels kind of nice that we have triple nice try to commit for that. We're given +2 to our next check. That's interesting because we already have +3.
Yeah,
basically.
What scares me here is we're using Ghidorah to get a block on the first attack. So we went down to 3 cards in hand, and now we have to go find the right block zone.
And it feels bad to what if it's just a couple pokes and we wasted our defending Pageant Queen on it when we could have committed our foundations to pass the check?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of times where just raw checking a fast move is better than using your reset, and it's so hard to figure out because I don't think anyone's going to call it a misplay if you told them I used Pageant Queen on a 11 speed move, especially if you have 2. But I have seen so many small instances where everything is telling me, use my reset, use my massive speed reduction, and yet somehow the correct play was to raw block, commit everything but my speed reduction, use it on the next move. The math is so hard to quantify in a hypothetical, but it is how you have to do it sometimes.
Interesting move by Cameron. He readied his Sean and then he immediately used his Sean, which says he's probably playing another attack, but he has to be careful. The King Ghidorah feeds off of overextensions.
Yes, that is pretty much how Ghidorah wins every game. And what did I say at the start of this turn? Cameron just has to not throw, right? He has to just not serve it up. So
it's on an 8. He checks a 6 now. We get to ready the nice try, so I guess it's not the end of the world. We'll be in a pretty good stage, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just a simple 6 high for 6 or 6 low for 6.
Yeah, gain a couple health.
We're trying to hit with this manipulations. It's not going as good as the first game, but we are going to mill 4 and get a bunch of damage.
Yeah, and we took down a counter for Ghidorah. So Ghidorah's feeling a little bit of heat, and every attack we play is more time off the clock. So
correct. That is the big thing is Reiner Braun has lots of win conditions at this point. He pretty much only has one lose condition, which is overextend.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think he quite did it with the Jaw Titan. The 6 diff is pretty comfortable to play.
Then it gained him 2 life, right? So I think he's at 6 now, which is more than the damage of the average Ghidorah move, truthfully.
We do see a half block come in, so a little bit of damage dealt there. And yeah, we could choose not to transform the jaw, put it in to momentum, and then potentially pick it up once he transforms for a nice 1 low block. Although I think the only low in King Ghidorah is Nebula Stare.
Yeah, which is a throw. In close combat tackle, they're throws. The lows are the throws. So, all right. So we got 10 minutes left in the round coming up here.
Yeah, this is going to be the turn for Trenton.
He at least has to push through, right? He at least has to do something. But you're right. As far as actually making it to top cuts, I mean, that is... I think we're playing spoiler. I don't think we're playing Kingmaker. We're playing spoiler here.
And now he checks a 6 on the 200.
It's coming around. See, everything in full circle. You got to believe in the karmic visions.
Yeah, can Cameron just find the runaway again? Because otherwise, I don't think you spend all of your resources attempting a block.
No. That would be probably too much.
You can effectively give, between the songs and the nice tries, you can effectively give -8 speed. 5 ready, yeah. It's certainly not worth it on something that doesn't transform. And he's looking at his hand. He does have the runaway. And he checks the runaway.
True combo. It's a true combo. Runaway to runaway.
And maybe he sighted him in. I don't know. Maybe he sighted even more in. Or
you hate to see it. This Cameron Caldwell guy. What a despicable.
And now he checks the 3, but he doesn't have a choice. You've got to go.
Yeah, you've just got to, right? How many runaways can he have? I mean, true 100. You'd like to have the bonus speed from Ready Foundations, but truthfully, the main thing is it's getting a massive damage bonus. But are we gonna see double runaway? We saw double true. Are we gonna see double runaway?
I wonder how many turns he's been clutching the runaway.
Yeah,
I imagine he never lets it go.
At least until you get to use it. There's he's gonna block this. He's gonna fight over the speed.
Yeah,
on this.
The 3 check really hurt.
Yeah, it's essentially 3 less speed this move has, or 2 less that you would expect, I guess. But we did check a 6 on the first one.
I mean, we got him to commit his rifle arm for plus speed, so it might even be, even if he doesn't block, it's like, I'm forcing you to do stuff.
Right.
On an attack that's, going to be doing 3 damage effectually, because I'll go to 17 and transform.
All right, we got some mills coming down here.
And there's really not anything on Trenton's side that's going to kill, other than like a 3rd true 100%, because like Patrick maybe just gets that powerful 3, so...
Well, and nothing kills. If this doesn't deal damage, nothing kills because he would just transform.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is where the Evil Ghidorah needs to be playing what we saw Calvin Harrigal playing in Elder Tagura, which is the... I can't remember which... It's Chronostasis Trigger or it's the other one? It's Chronostasis Trigger. There's 2 gun moves, and I always get them mixed up. But Chronostasis Trigger says if you play it from somewhere... other than your hand, you get to like change the zone, freeze a foundation, and if it deals damage, your rival's character is sealed, which would prevent Reiner from transforming. He would just lose the game. So that might be something that Trenton wants to include in his sideboard, or include a couple copies in the main board for matchups like this, like the mirror match even.
Yeah, that was effectually game, because like if you can't deal any damage with like double true 100%, you just wasted them out of your hand. Like what hand are you going to draw that's going to do anything?
And while one time it was like the runaway, like all-in-one answer, we're also seeing Cameron just fight over the stats. Like Cameron is just raw defending. Well, not raw, but he's like defending with just -2 speed cards and blocking like a normal deck. Like,
yeah, he hasn't even used his female Titan yet, so he can go and get a second knockdown blow here, which means he could pretty easily pass 5 4-check attacks, although he's pretty much sitting on a cakewalk to top cuts just by wasting 6 minutes. So,
yep.
How hard he how hard he goes in could end up being bad if he allows this to get.
We could call him Cameron Hardwell.
Yeah, we should have had Tam Cardwell on commentary here because this is Tam Cardwell for Cameron
Yes,
Caldwell.
It's impossible to say, right?
Yeah, he can't start a show. Caldwell's way harder than Cardwell.
They should start a podcast, Tamron and Cameron.
Tam and Cam talk card well.
Tam and Cam talk cards well. Me talk good. Me commentary.
Oh, you got to get an attack out of hand.
+1 high block with the breaker 1 into Smiling Titan attacks.
Yep, hard checks it.
So you're talking about wasting time. A great way to waste time is to play attacks, even if you know they're not going to win the game necessarily. And one of the ways you can stop your rival from doing that is preventing them from playing cards, right? So the breaker is a really good idea. A really good idea here, but I gotta believe if you're Trenton, you're doing your enhances like as fast as possible. Like this looking at my hand, you gotta pass. You gotta enhance or pass. You gotta go.
No, don't look at that discard pile.
No, this is it's very funny. One of my favorite card game stories is watching a tournament and watching a player who's playing a stall deck. Like affectionately, it is a deck that stalls the game out. It tries to have as few actions happen as possible, and then the opponent mills out. And they lost because of the time limit was coming up, and their opponent was just passing. They're just like, draw a card, pass. I can't play anything. It's not worth it. Draw a card, play a foundation, pass. Draw a card, play a foundation. And his opponent lost because he kept looking at his discard pile, and he let it go to time, and then he lost in the overtime tiebreaker rules because he had less health.
Yeah, and we took time finding the Master's Pride to remove with the incubating.
Right.
just remove some random thing, let's... And we lost Patchwork Baby. We lost Vile Seizing. Even if we did get a chance to crack back, we would have to draw like straight fire.
Yeah, and this goes back to, well, I don't know if it was you or Tam I was talking to, the regionals and especially the stream table, there is no clock readily available. So these players probably have no idea that there's only 4 minutes left in the round. They're relying on the judge, who usually does give periodic updates, but we all know how easy it is to get lost in the sauce when someone says 20 minutes left, and the next thing you know, it's 4 minutes left, and you're like, what? We played one turn? So this is pretty rough, but it looks like Trent's going to get another turn.
Yeah, he gets 4 minutes. 4 minutes to find it. So this is basically the last turn.
4 minutes for Ghidorah to play offense into someone who has the same trick he does, and he has no discard pile. I would be incredibly amazed if Trenton pulls this off. It would be insane if he could do this. But I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I would pop off really hard.
Most of Cameron's foundations are face down. He's got -6 speed in terms of nice tries, but that's really the only defense he has access to. So it is possible.
There's one thing I think the Void version has over the other versions, but I don't even see them play it, which is Ice Sword execution. Selectively go get Ice Sword, commit all of these nice tries. I mean, that seems like a play, right? What can the evil symbol do to interfere with the rival's stage and prevent him from using all of these speed reduction abilities?
Yeah, I can't think of any that comes to the top of my head. The other thing that Void gets is like the hand ripping.
Oh, we got a transformation.
But yeah, we have no way to damage reduce this. So it's not like game 1 where we had Knott's Flask and others. So that Nebulous just took down a head all by itself. Like that tiny Nebulous there just did what double True 100% couldn't do.
Could not, right. Exactly. Our game is so funny. But we do see another small throw, close combat tackle. Going to commit the last backup for fun, I suppose. But
I think Cameron's in sneaky danger here. Depending how hot Ghidorah drew.
Cameron's definitely not like showing any real setup. We milled 3 attacks. Okay. A lot of true 100s fill up that discard pile. I mean, Trenton's he's milling and checking cards you really want to in this situation. But I think Cameron is realizing that we're at the point in the game where I just have to identify the threat. I only have to block the attacks that
But he did find the true 100
found 2
on that combined firepower. Yeah, so now he gets the perfect King Ghidorah. That could be game.
Yeah, we're pumping up our close combat tackles with The Ghidorah, we have the Ghidorah Foundation that says if our opponent has 10 foundations, we can commit for 4
But
damage.
everything we commit loses speed on the true 100%.
True.
But we're committing them all.
We only care about the damage number.
Wow.
This could be the world's greatest bait.
This would be so sad.
This is a 17 damage throw. It's a 17 damage throw.
We do not have the runaways. We are down to 8. True 100% comes out. We're checking 5s now.
There's no way this deals damage, though, right?
Well, if you block it, you're at 8 health, and you're going to have to waste all your resources on the block. So a follow-up from Ghidorah could get
another
there.
true 100. You're right. Let's play a true 100 on a 10. You know, Brent Pendragon was just talking about in his interview that he just lost to Andrew Porat playing a true 100 on a 12.
Oh, he didn't have another attack. They hand shook. He made it so interesting. I was just getting invested in that turn.
I was going to pop off if he did it. He was this close. He was so close, but that's going to do it. Congratulations to Cameron Caldwell. We should go get an interview from him, and then we've got a little bit of a wrap-up for the final round, give you guys an update on what's coming next, find out if there's a top cut announcement. I know it'll be on the UGN, and it'll be out there on the internet.
Before we sign off here real quick.
Well, we're not signing off yet. We're going to go get the interview, and then we're going to do the sign-off.
I see. Perfect.
All
right, let's go. We'll go find Cameron. Probably a big release of emotions there that he just made top cuts with Reiner, the first to ever do it. Be back soon.
Cameron, Alvin, Travis.
hunger panos.
Welcome back. I have Cameron Caldwell here with me. Cameron, you are the first player in UniVersus history to top a regional with Reiner Braun Warrior. How does it feel?
Really? But he's so good, and it feels great. Like,
yeah.
I thought I was cooked. As soon as I saw this is the second Ghidorah I was paired into, and it was TJ, and I was like, I lose, and that just wasn't what happened. My confidence was low going into that last game.
Well, both those true 100%, you were able to grab the runaway. Were you clutching onto the runaways for like several turns?
2 turns on one of them, and I think 3 turns on the other.
Okay, so those were very planned out. That was not lucky grabs.
And I sighted 2 of them in, so I went up to 4. I was doing the 4 of.
Okay, I thought you might have sighted more in.
200% is scary. That was exactly what it was for. It was all about that true 100%.
Perfect. Well, you made it. 5-1-1. You're getting in. You said that this is your first. You've topped nationals. You were one of the top 16 in the webcam circuit that I hosted last year. So you're no stranger to doing well at these events. But this is your first regional to top cut.
Yes, it is.
So is this how many regionals have you been to on this quest?
I think this is my first actual regional since maybe like when it was 2016 and they weren't even technically regionals
That's
anymore.
Pretty good. One in top cuts.
Yeah. I really didn't expect to hit tops today, so it's thrilling. It's very excited to be able to come back for day 2.
Well, what was it about Reiner Braun Warrior that drew you to him? Because, like I said earlier, he had never seen a top cut, and then we saw 5 players actually today on Reiner Braun Warrior, but you're the one that actually converted and made it happen.
Yeah.
What was it about Reiner Braun?
So I was just looking at the 4-check tribals, and I was like, I need someone on Chaos and Fire, and I was like, well, Reiner has Chaos and Fire, so he just felt like the best candidate to do the Chaos Fire 4-checks, and then being able to potentially just give silly stats, especially in the later game, just felt viable.
So you started with the I want to play a knockdown blow deck.
Yep.
And I want manipulations of Zeke Yeager to get fire.
Yes, because I manipulations is such a fun card. I was like, I need to be able to play a million of this and just hitting multiple like female titans back to back to back to just hit the high blocks I needed it.
Yeah,
it needed to happen.
How long did you prepare for this event, and what did your preparation look like?
So I threw the deck together for a couple local championships. I came in first and then second, and that was pretty much the extent of my testing, my preparation, and yeah, it was. I almost audibled out to Ymir yesterday and decided not to, and now I'm thrilled that I didn't.
Yeah, that was a very very good choice, sticking with Reiner Braun. Well, congratulations. You're in top cuts. We'll see more of you tomorrow, and hopefully you can make it on stream again.
I hope so.
All right, guys. Oh, before I sign off, the champion cards for Will Anderson and Garrett Bratt, they are going to be hitting the reward store on Monday with the next rotation at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard or Pacific time. So if you were not at this regional and you didn't get your hands on a Will Anderson or Garrett Bratt, you can grab those on the reward store. Some very, very fun characters. Tomorrow they'll be doing a match where they, or maybe even later tonight, they'll be doing a match where they play into each other, and we'll have it here on stream. So congratulations, Cameron, once again. Oh, before I let you go, any shout outs you want to give?
No, just TJ for being a great opponent and great practice. He's part of my locals.
Oh, really? So that was a locals matchup for the fun.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I had zero confidence going in. I've never even 2-1'd him before. I've taken games, but I've never taken a round off TJ. And that's the same Ghidorah he took to 3rd in Worlds.
Wow.
And so zero confidence going in.
That's a pretty good time. That's a pretty good time to make it happen. Reiner unlocked it. Well, guys, you'll be seeing more of Cameron tomorrow with our top 8. We'll be doing our top 8 announcement. We'll be right back with it, and we'll see you in just a little bit.
What's up, everybody? Tam Cardwell is not here, but Sam Tate and David Toombs are here with your top 8 announcement. Tons of players were here in Albuquerque to battle out for points to qualify at Worlds, for awesome prizes, for wonderful prize wall ticket prizes. But only 8 players are going to be competing tomorrow in our top 8, and we have quite a few doozies for you. We've got Andrew Porat from Let's Talk UVS playing Evil Ghidorah. We've got Stormcrow, Aaron C. in 7th place playing Chaos Devil Jin. We've got Let's Talk UVS's Carson Panos in 6th place playing Air Nick Reagan. And we've got Cameron Caldwell in 5th place playing Reiner Braun Warrior, which you just saw on stream, the first person ever to top cut with Reiner Braun Warrior.
Yep, and then in 4th place from Team Let's Talk UVS, we have TC on Air Nick Reagan. In 3rd place from Team MGLA, we have Travis Tangerman coming back to top cuts with Void Rodan. In 2nd place, we have from the stream match, Calvin Tahan with Gaming Giant on Chaos Godzilla. And then in 1st place, our Swiss champ is from Team Let's Talk UVS, Ross Aubrey with Air Nick Reagan. So that is what we have for tomorrow. We got 3 Air Nick Reagans. Then we've got a King Ghidorah, a Godzilla, a Rodan, a Devil Jin, a Reiner Braun Warrior. So really, really excited for this action tomorrow. It'll kick off at 10 a.m.
I am super duper excited, partner. I know I'm going to be there. I know you should be there. And we're going to have plenty of other side events and things. We had a cosplay contest that was scheduled. There's a scavenger hunt for people who are here. So all the spotlight events, you get to play with some AOT 3 cards. Apocalypse was not legal for the main event, but AOT Apocalypse is in a ton of the side events and the sealed and the drafts and all that. So if you guys aren't here in Albuquerque, you're missing out, but you can tune in tomorrow and check out all the action with our top 8. We hope to see you there. Good night, everyone. We'll see you in the morning.